Tom lived in a quiet part of Earth. His home was near a large forest where birds sang in the morning and silence ruled at night. He liked machines more than people. Fixing old engines and tools gave him peace. The stars above his home always made him wonder what was out there. One night, while he worked on a broken generator, a strange sound echoed in the sky. It wasn't thunder or wind. It was sharp and loud, like something tearing through the clouds. Tom stepped outside and looked. Up, a streak of bright light raced across the sky. It wasn't a shooting star. It was something else, something crashing. The light vanished behind the trees with a loud boom. The ground shook lightly. Birds flew away in fear. Tom didn't wait. He grabbed his flashlight, threw on a jacket, and ran toward the crash. He didn't know what he would find, but his heart beat fast with curiosity. Smoke rose between the tall trees. The smell of burned metal filled the air. As Tom got closer, he saw it, a small silver ship half buried in the ground. Its surface was cracked, glowing in places. It looked alive, like it was breathing through vents. Suddenly, a hatch opened with a hiss. A figure crawled out slowly. Tom froze. It was a woman, tall, thin, with smooth dark armor over her body. Her skin was a pale blue. Her eyes were large, glowing softly. She looked around in confusion and pain. Tom stepped closer. "Are you all right?" The woman raised her hand weakly, then dropped it. She tried to stand but stumbled. Her leg bent strangely. She fell forward. Tom rushed and caught her before she hit the ground. "I'm not here to harm you," he said calmly. The woman looked at him. Her voice was soft but firm. "You are human." "Yes," Tom nodded. "You're hurt. Let me help you." She didn't answer, but she didn't push him away. He guided her slowly back to his home. Her arm over his shoulder, she limped beside him, breathing heavily. Every step seemed to take effort. When they reached his house, Tom helped her lie down on a padded bench near the fireplace. She looked around with sharp eyes, trying to study everything. "I'm Tom," he said gently. "Do you have a name?" She hesitated, then said, "Rila." "All right, Rila. You need rest? You're lucky you didn't crash harder." Rila looked at her leg. "It's not broken, just damaged." Tom nodded. He grabbed a basic medical kit and carefully checked her wounds. She had a long burn across her shoulder. Her leg was swollen, but not bleeding. He tried to apply a healing patch. "This will help with the pain." "No," Rila said. "Your tools are not made for me." Tom sighed. "Then what do you need?" She stayed silent for a moment, then whispered, "Your touch is strange, but when you held me, something changed." The pain became less. Tom blinked. "I don't understand." "Neither do I," she said, closing her eyes. "But I will find out." That night, Rila stayed on the bench, her body tense but still. Tom sat nearby, keeping the fire going. He didn't ask questions. She had just crashed from the sky. She needed time. He watched her sleep lightly, one hand resting on the side of her head. The next morning, Rila tried to stand. She took the steps and nearly fell. Tom caught her again. "You should rest more," he said. "No, I must fix my ship." Tom gave a small smile. "You can't even walk straight. Let me check the ship first." Rila narrowed her eyes. "You're not trained." "No," Tom said. "But I've fixed things since I was a kid. Let me try." She hesitated, then gave a short nod. Tom walked back to the crash site. The ship was still smoking, but the fire had died. Its side was torn open. Inside, the controls were blinking weakly. He didn't touch anything. He just looked, took notes, and returned. "I think I can help repair the outer panel," he said. Rila looked surprised. "Why do you want to help me?" Tom shrugged. "Because you're here, and you're not trying to hurt anyone, I think. You crashed by accident. That's reason enough." Rila didn't answer right away. Then she said softly, "In my world, people do not help strangers." "Well," Tom said, "maybe Earth is different." That afternoon, he worked outside while Rila watched from the doorway. She was calm, quiet, and alert, but her steps remained uneven. Every time she stood near Tom, she seemed distracted, almost dizzy. When the sun began to set, She walked up to him and asked, "What did you do to me?" Tom looked up. "Nothing." "Why?" She frowned. "I can't walk straight when I'm close to you." Tom laughed lightly. "Maybe your balance is still off from the crash." "No," Rilla said. "It only happens when you're near. This is not normal." Tom blinked. "I'm not sure what to say." Rilla folded her arms. "I will figure this out. Until then, do not touch me again." Tom raised his hands. "All right." But as she turned to walk away, her foot caught on a root. She stumbled again. Tom reached forward to help, but she steadied herself. "Don't," she said quickly. "I must walk on my own." She walked back to the house, slower than before. Tom stood there, thinking. He had met aliens before, but never like this. Rilla was strong, smart, and proud. But something strange was happening, not just to her, but maybe to both of them. He looked at the stars above and whispered, "What did I just get myself into?" The next morning, Rilla stood outside the house with her arms crossed. The forest was quiet. A thin mist moved between the trees. Birds chirped in the distance. But Rilla was not watching the trees. She was watching Tom. He was checking the tools. In his shed, he didn't notice her at first. When he turned around, he gave her a small smile. "Morning," he said. "Did you sleep?" "Not much," Rilla answered. "I kept thinking." Tom nodded. "About your ship?" "No." She said. "About you?" That surprised him. "Me?" "Yes," she said. "Every time I'm close to you, something strange happens inside me. I lose balance. My legs feel weak. My head feels light." Tom walked over slowly. "Maybe you're still healing." "I've healed from worse in one night," Rilla said. "This is different." Tom stayed silent. He could see she was serious. Her eyes didn't blink. She stood like a soldier. But something in her voice showed confusion. "I tested myself last night," she continued. "Heart rate, breathing, reflex, all normal. Until I heard your voice from the next room. Then everything changed." Tom looked at her, trying to find the right words. "You think I did something to you?" "I'm not sure," Rilla said. "But your presence affects me. I've never felt this before." Tom sat on a wooden step. "Well, I didn't do anything on purpose." She narrowed her eyes. "Then why does your touch make my pain go away?" Tom looked at the ground. "Maybe it's not my touch. Maybe it's just care. Maybe nobody's cared for you before." That made Rilla pause. Her lips pressed together. She looked away. "In the Ethery Empire," she said, "we are trained not to depend on others. We heal ourselves. We fight alone. Weakness is not allowed." Tom nodded. "I see. But maybe that's why you're feeling confused. You've never been helped without a reason." She looked back at him. "Why do you help me?" Tom shrugged. "Because it's the right thing to do." Rilla said nothing. For the first time, she didn't seem to know what to say. Later that day, Tom and Rilla returned to the crash site. The ship still lay there, broken and silent. Tom pointed to the damaged area. "I think if we remove this panel, I can reach the control wires. I don't know your tech, but I can try." Rilla stepped forward. "Let me help." She moved beside him, but as she reached for a tool, her hand shook. She dropped it. Then she took a step back and almost lost her balance again. Tom caught her arm gently. "Careful." Rilla pulled away quickly. "Don't touch me." Tom stepped back. "Sorry." Rilla looked at her feet. "Why now?" "I train on every planet, in every climate. I've never had trouble walking." Tom thought for a moment. "It's possible something in our environment is affecting you. Maybe Earth's air, gravity." "No," she said. "It's you, only when you're near." Tom tried not to laugh, but a smile came to his face. "So I'm the problem?" She frowned. "This is not funny." "All right," Tom said. "Then maybe we figure it out together." They worked through the afternoon. Tom passed tools. Rilla gave instructions. But each time she stepped closer to him, her hands slowed. She touched the wrong wire. She dropped screws. Her voice trembled once. Tom saw it all but said nothing. He didn't want to embarrass her. By evening, the ship's outer panel was repaired. The lights inside blinked with more strength. "You did good work," Rilla said. "So did you," Tom replied. I was slow, she admitted. I don't like that. Tom nodded. Maybe your body is telling you to stop fighting and just trust someone. She looked at him again. You believe. Trust makes you stronger. Yes, he said simply. It's helped me more than tools ever did. Rilla didn't reply, but her eyes stayed on him a little longer than usual. Back at the house, Tom made food. He placed a warm plate in front of her. She looked at it with care. I don't know. Your food, she said. It's simple, Tom said. Rice, beans, vegetables. Nothing harmful. She tasted it slowly, then nodded. It's not bad. Thanks, Tom smiled. They ate quietly. The fire crackled in the background. Outside, stars began to appear. After they ate, Rilla stood. She walked across the room. Trying to keep her balance, she walked in a straight line, then turned and stumbled. Tom stood up quickly. Are you okay? She caught herself on the table. Yes, still dizzy, he asked. Yes, she said. It gets worse when I think about you. Tom blinked. What do you mean? Rilla looked at him with serious eyes. When I focus on your voice or your presence, I feel strange. Like part of me is unsure if I should fight you or follow you. Tom looked confused. I've never heard anything like that. I have, Rilla said. It's rare. In Ethery legends, some warriors form bonds with others by accident when it happens. Their minds and bodies react. It's not love. It's not friendship. It's something deeper. But I thought it was only a story. Tom's voice was quiet. And you think that happened to you? I don't know, she said. But I will find out. She walked to the window and stared at the sky. Tom watched her, unsure of what to say. I didn't mean to cause anything, he said. I was just trying to help. I believe you, Rilla said softly. But something has changed, and I don't know if I can return to who I was before. Tom nodded. Then maybe it's time to become someone new. Rilla turned and looked at him again. Her face was calm now. Perhaps, she said. The sun rose slowly over the trees. A soft wind moved through the leaves. The morning air smelled fresh and cool. Tom was already outside, fixing a broken toolbox. He enjoyed the silence. The birds chirped around him, and the forest felt alive. Behind him, the door opened. Rilla stepped out, her steps careful but steady. She had slept longer this time. Her face looked calm, but her eyes still watched everything like a soldier. Good morning, Tom said without turning around. Rilla walked closer. You wake early. Old habit. Tom replied. Machines don't fix themselves. She stood beside him, silent for a moment. May I ask you something? She said. Of course, Tom said. Do all humans smell like you? Tom looked up, confused. What? Your scent, Rilla said. It's strong. I notice it more each day. It affects me. Tom blinked. I guess I didn't know I had a scent. Rilla sat on a flat rock near him. It's not bad. It's warm, steady. But it makes my thoughts cloudy. Tom smiled a little. You sure it's not just the forest? No, she said. It's only near you. When you walk past, my senses sharpen. But at the same time, I lose focus. Tom thought for a moment. Could be some kind of instinct. Like your body is reacting to something it doesn't understand. Rilla nodded slowly. That's what I fear. My instincts are shifting. Ethery warriors train to ignore such things. But I'm failing. You're not failing, Tom said. You're just learning something new. Rilla looked down at her hands. I've never been near a human for this long. Our kind usually don't get along. But you're different. Tom leaned back. You're not the first to say that. Rilla studied his face. You don't act like the others in your history logs. No pride. No hunger for power. Just calm. I've had my share of chaos, Tom said. Now I just want peace. They sat together in silence for a while. A gentle breeze passed between them. Rilla closed her eyes for a moment. Thinnis checked. The next few days moved like a quiet storm. Tom spent time with each sister, learning more than he expected. He had passed Lina's test of strength. He had followed Ressa through a maze of machines and wires, solving puzzles under pressure. And he had sat with Kira for hours, answering political questions while she tried to find weakness in his logic. Each trial was different, But one thing stayed the same: none of them treated him as a guest. He was being tested, judged, and watched. Still, something else was growing too. Respect, slowly. The sisters began to see something in Tom that could not be shown in records or files. He didn't try to impress. He didn't act above anyone. He simply listened, acted, and stood his ground when needed. One evening, as the artificial lights dimmed inside Earth Station 9, Tom walked beside Mira in the quiet garden deck. The air smelled like fresh leaves, water from a small fountain made. A soft sound nearby. They still haven't made their choice, Tom said. They are thinking. Mira replied gently. But there's something else. Tom looked at her. What do you mean? She stopped walking and looked toward the stars outside the glass window. Long ago, my sisters were very close. Before the war, before the empire began to change. Lena was always the leader. Ressa followed her closely, full of ideas. Kira asked hard questions, even when no one wanted to hear them. I was the quiet one, the youngest. Tom listened closely. When we lost our father, Mira said, they fought over everything. Power, duty, who would lead the future. I stayed away from those fights. That's why they don't always agree with me. I chose you without asking them first. That opened an old wound. Tom nodded slowly. So this is about more than just me. Mira turned to him. Yes, you are at the center now, but the storm has been building for years. Tom was silent for a moment. Can it be healed? I don't know, she said. But they are watching you, hoping for an answer. Maybe even hoping you'll do something that makes them believe again. Just then, a message came through Mira's small comm device. She read it quietly, then looked up. Kira wants to see you alone. Tom raised an eyebrow. Now, she says it is important. Tom walked into the meeting hall where Kira waited alone. The large room was quiet. With only one table between them, she didn't look up right away, just stared at the screen in front of her. You're early, she said. I didn't want to waste your time, Tom replied. Kira tapped a few things on her tablet, then turned it off. I've read every file on you, she said. Your missions, your choices, your failures. You don't hide anything. That makes you strange to me. Tom sat down, strange in a good way. I haven't decided, she said. But I know something you don't. Tom leaned forward. What is it? There are people inside the Empire who don't want peace, Kira said. And they don't want you here. Someone is working to ruin this from the inside. Tom's face turned serious. You think one of your own is planning something. I know it, she said. And I think it will happen soon. Tom stayed quiet. His mind started to work fast. Do you know where or how? Kira shook her head. Not yet, but I need your help. I can't trust everyone around me. But I trust that you want peace. Tom nodded. Tell me what you need. She looked at him for a long time, as if searching for a lie. Then she stood. I want to show you something, she said. Follow me. They walked through the lower decks of the station. This part was quiet, old, and dimly lit. Kira stopped at a storage room. She opened the door and stepped inside. Tom followed. Inside, she brought up a small hologram of the Empire's council rooms. It showed movement paths, guard shifts, and strange activity over the last 5 days. I believe someone is using official access to hide illegal messages, Kira said, encrypted. But using our royal network, sabotage, Tom asked, or worse, she said, assassination. Maybe during the signing ceremony. Tom stepped closer to the display. Who else knows? Only you, she said. He looked at her. Why trust me? Kira hesitated for the first time. Because you don't play games. You face things the way they are. Tom studied the data. We'll need more proof. Kira nodded. We'll work together. Quietly, later that night, Tom returned to his room. Mira was there, sitting in silence. You saw Kira. She asked that double quotes yes. Tom said, she told me something important. I thought she might, Mira said. She never opens up unless she sees something in someone. Tom sat beside her. She's afraid for your future, for the Empire's future. She hides it well. Mira said, they all do, Tom said. But I think there's hope. Mira looked at him. And what about you? Do you still believe in this path? Tom smiled gently. I didn't come here expecting any of this, but now that I'm in it, I won't step back. If I can help you all come together, if I can stop what's coming, then I'll do whatever it takes. Mira placed her hand over his. Then maybe, just maybe, there's a future worth building. Outside the station window, the stars kept shining. Somewhere in the dark, trouble was coming. But inside, trust was beginning to grow. Earth Station 9 was glowing with soft lights as guests from both Earth and the Corellan Empire arrived for the peace signing. Flags of both worlds waved gently inside the large hall. Diplomats, soldiers, and officers filled the room, shaking hands and talking in quiet voices. The air was heavy with hope but also tension. Tom stood near the back of the room. Wearing a clean, formal suit, Mira stood beside him in a royal blue gown, her face calm but alert. Her sisters were nearby, dressed in their own elegant styles. Lena wore a light combat uniform, always prepared. Ressa had small gadgets hidden under her sleeves. Kira held a data tablet in her hand and kept glancing around. Tom leaned toward Mira. Everything looks perfect on the surface. Mira nodded. But below the surface, we don't know. Tom had been working with Kira over the last 2 days. They had discovered something dangerous. Someone was sending secret codes through the royal system, and now, with so many high leaders in one place, it was the perfect time for an attack. Kira stepped closer to Tom. He's here. I saw him arrive an hour ago. Who? Tom asked. Admiral Dresk, Kira whispered. He leads a small but dangerous group. They don't want peace. They believe the Empire should control all, including Earth. Tom frowned. Do we have proof? Enough to act, Kira said. He brought his own guards. Too many for a normal visit. I think he's planning something during the signing. Tom looked at Lena. She was scanning the crowd with her sharp eyes. We need to warn the others, he said. But before they could move, a loud voice filled the room. Attention, said the announcer. The peace ceremony will begin. All representatives, please take your places. Tom and the sisters walked forward toward the main platform. The Corellan Queen herself, mother of the 4 sisters, stood waiting to speak. She was tall, dressed in silver robes, and carried the history of her people in her eyes. Mira bowed to her. Tom followed. The Queen smiled softly. This day is important. For the first time in generations, two great peoples come together. War has taught us pain. Let peace now teach us strength. As she raised her hand to signal the start of the treaty, the lights flickered. Everyone paused. Then a loud bang echoed through the hall. Smoke exploded from the far end. People screamed and ducked. Armed guards rushed forward. More smoke bombs rolled across the floor. Tom grabbed Mira and pulled her down behind the podium. Lena jumped in front, shielding them with her body. Ressa threw a small device into the smoke, and it lit up the area with a blue flash, clearing. The fog. Kira ran toward the back, already moving through the crowd. It's happening, Tom said. This is the sabotage. Guards wearing admiral dress symbol pushed through the confusion. They didn't shoot but moved toward the Queen. Tom stood up and shouted, "Protect the Queen." Lena gave orders quickly in her native tongue. Loyal Corellan soldiers moved in, forming a wall around the royal family. Mira held her mother's hand, keeping her close. Tom chased after Kira, who was tracking the admiral. He caught up with her, near the communication deck. He's here, she said, pointing. Admiral Dress stood with 2 of his guards, typing something into a device. His face was cold and proud. Kira stepped forward. You're under arrest? Dress laughed. You think a human and a few sisters can stop a storm? Tom said firmly. The war is over. You're trying to start it again. You don't belong in our empire, Dress said. This peace is weakness. Kira raised her device. We recorded your plans, every message. It's already been sent to the council. The admiral's face froze. Guards loyal to the Queen arrived. Dressed men drew weapons but were quickly surrounded. No one fired. After a few tense seconds, Dress dropped his weapon and raised his hands. You may have stopped me, he said, but peace won't last. Tom stepped forward. It will last as long as we protect it, together. the admiral was taken away. Back in the main hall, the smoke was gone. The people were safe. The queen stood again, tall and calm. "We faced fire again," she said. "But we stood as one. This is what peace looks like, not soft, but strong." She turned to Tom. "You protected my daughters. You protected this union. Today, you are more than a guest. You are one of us." Tom looked at Mira, who gave him a small, proud smile. The queen spoke to the crowd. "Let the treaty be signed. Let Earth and Corellan build the future as partners." The room filled with cheers. The treaty was signed by both leaders. Lights flashed, flags waved. But the strongest moment came later, when the sisters gathered around Tom in a quiet corner. "You didn't run," Lena said. "You followed every wire," Ressa added. "You stood when others fell," Kira finished. Mira looked at her sisters, then at Tom. "Now you see why I chose him," she said. Lena crossed her arms. "We see it. He passed more than our tests. He faced our fears." Kira nodded. "And he stood between us and war." Tom looked at all four of them. "So what now?" Mira stepped forward. "Now we begin the real journey." And for the first time, all four sisters stood side by side, not as rivals, but as one. The peace ceremony was over, but Tom knew his journey wasn't finished. The treaty had been signed. The attack had been stopped. And Admiral Dresk was taken away. Yet something heavier now rested on his shoulders. He stood alone on the garden deck of Earth Station 9, looking out into the stars. The calm outside didn't match the storm inside his heart. Mira's sisters had protected him, tested him, and even stood beside him in danger. And now, according to Corellan tradition, all four sisters must choose together. He wasn't just marrying Mira anymore. If they all agreed, he would become part of their family, bonded not to one, but to all. The door behind him opened softly. Mira stepped out, wearing a simple white robe. Her expression was quiet, but her eyes were full of thought. "You haven't spoken much today," she said, standing beside him. Tom looked down. "A lot is happening inside me." Mira nodded. "You are afraid." He didn't deny it. "Yes. I don't want to make a promise I can't keep." She turned toward him. "Do you still wish to be part of our family?" Tom took a breath. "I do. But this isn't just about you anymore. This bond includes Lena, Ressa, and Kira. Each one is different. They have their own ideas, their own ways. If I agree, I have to respect and care for them too. I have to be strong enough for all of you." Mira didn't smile, but her voice was soft. "You already care. That's why you worry." Tom faced her. "What if I fail?" She looked at him gently. "Then you stand again. That is what we do. That is how families grow." Just then, the door opened again. The three sisters walked in, one by one. Lena was serious as always. Ressa wore her usual curious smile. And Kira held her tablet, but wasn't using it. The four sisters stood together, forming a circle with Tom at the center. Lena spoke first. "We have talked. We have thought deeply. Mira's choice started this, but now we must decide as one." Tom waited, his hands calm but his heart racing. Ressa stepped forward. "You faced danger with us. You never stepped back. You were not perfect, but you were honest." Kira looked at him. "You didn't break under pressure. You didn't lie to gain favor. You acted with respect." Then Lena gave the final words. "We choose you as one." Tom's chest felt heavy, but in a good way. The silence that followed was full of meaning. He looked at each of them, searching for the right words. "I didn't expect this when I first met Mira," he said. "But now I understand what it means to become part of something bigger than myself. I won't take this lightly. If I accept this bond, I accept all of you. I don't promise to be perfect, but I promise to stand by your side." Mira stepped closer and reached for his hand. "Then speak your answer, Tom of Earth. Do you accept the bond of unity with us, the daughters of the Corellan royal line?" He looked at her, then at each sister, one by one. "I do." Lena placed a small emblem on his chest, shaped like a rising star. "Then the bond is formed." Ressa smiled and said, "Now you're really part of the family." Kira added, "You just became part of the Empire's future." Tom laughed softly. That's a lot to carry. You won't carry it alone, Mira said. They led him into the hall where the queen waited once more. This was not another ceremony of paper and treaties. This was a royal bonding in old Corellan tradition that had not been done in 100 years. The queen looked at her daughters and then at Tom. This choice is rare, but it is not without meaning. The bond of many hearts is the bond of great strength. Tom stepped forward. I am ready. Each sister placed their hand on his shoulders. Forming a circle around him, the queen raised her hand, and a beam of soft blue light passed over them. The bond is witnessed, she said. Let it guide us into a future where unity is not weakness, but power. The light faded. The moment ended, but something strong had formed in that space. A bond not just between people, but between worlds. Later that night, Tom sat alone again. This time in a quiet room prepared for him and the sisters. Mira walked in last, carrying a small cup of warm Corellan drink. She handed it to him. You look peaceful now. Tom took the cup. I feel it. Mira sat beside him. We don't expect you to understand everything right away. Tom nodded. Just help me learn. I want to know each of you. I want to grow with you, not just beside you. She smiled at last, the kind of smile that came from the heart. Then you are already one of us. Outside the window, the stars moved slowly. Somewhere, distant ships returned to their homes, carrying news of peace. And inside this quiet room, a human and for alien sisters began a new chapter, not of war, not of politics, but of trust, love, and unity. Tom stood beside the balcony of the royal tower. Below, the glowing city of Arvella spread like a sea of lights, humming quietly beneath the night sky. His human heart, once full of fear and doubt, now beat with calm strength. The stars above didn't feel so far anymore. Behind him, the door slid open. Mira walked in with quiet steps, followed by her sisters, Lena, Ressa, and Kira. They were no longer just the princesses of the Corellan Empire. To Tom, they were his family now. Are you ready? Mira asked softly. Tom turned, his face thoughtful. Yes, I just needed a moment. Lena stepped closer, adjusting her uniform. The council waits. They want to hear what the human who helped save the treaty has to say. Tom smiled. They really listen to me now. They always listen, Ressa said with a light laugh. They just didn't admit it. Kira nodded. You stood with us. That changed everything. The five of them moved together through the long hallway, lined with silver pillars and quiet guards. When the doors to the great hall opened, all eyes turned to Tom. The High Council sat in a circle, waiting. Queen Rilla stood first. Her voice echoed gently. Tom of Earth, today, the final bond has been witnessed. The treaty has been accepted across the systems. Your part in this peace is known. Tom nodded respectfully. Thank you, Your Majesty. You carry not only the trust of my daughters, she said, but now also the hope of many who believed. Peace was impossible. The elder counselor, a tall Corellan with silver bands on his arms, spoke. We request your voice, not as a soldier or guest, but as family. How do you see the future? Tom took a breath. He looked around at the many faces, some curious, some doubtful, some waiting. He spoke in a steady voice. I came from a world where unity is not always easy. We argue, we struggle, but we try. When I first arrived, I didn't understand your ways. I didn't understand the bond between sisters or what it meant to be part of a royal house. But I've seen courage here. I've seen people willing to fight not just for power, but for peace. He paused and looked at Mira, then the others. These for women changed how I see everything. I thought I would be alone here, but now I am part of something bigger. I believe your future can be strong if it is built on trust, not fear. I may be human, but my loyalty is now with all of you. A soft murmur passed through the council. The queen raised her hand. Then let it be known, she declared. Tom of Earth shall hold the title of Unity Speaker. His bond with this royal house shall be honored and protected. His voice shall be heard in matters of alliance. Mira's eyes met his. You didn't just join a family. You became part of our world. Later that night, away from the ceremonies and council halls. The sisters and Tom gathered in the royal garden. The stars sparkled above like a sky full of memories. Lanterns floated around the trees, casting soft light on their faces. Rusta brought a basket of fresh fruit and warm bread. We finally get a quiet meal. Kira nodded, placing her tablet aside. No meetings tonight. No threats, just us. Lena poured drinks into glass cups, and no speeches. They all looked at Tom. What? He said, smiling. I gave one. Speech? That's enough for a lifetime. Mira sat beside him. Do you still feel like an outsider? Tom looked around at the peaceful garden, at the four faces that had stood beside him through danger and change. No, he said, I feel like I'm home. For a while, they just sat together in silence, listening to the sounds of the soft breeze and distant music from the city. The moment was quiet, but full of warmth. Then Ressa leaned forward. So what's next? Speaker of Unity, Tom thought for a moment. Tomorrow, I'll begin learning the Corellan history properly. I want to understand your roots. I want to speak your language better. I don't want to just live here. I want to belong. Kira looked impressed. Spoken like a true Corellan, Lena raised her cup. Then let's begin our new life with a promise. Mira nodded. A promise of peace, learning, and staying together. Tom lifted his cup. Together. The cups clinked softly, and laughter followed. The stars above witnessed the moment. A union that was once unthinkable, now sealed by courage, understanding, and quiet love. Far away, the Earth Command received the message, not of war, but of alliance. The message was simple. The human ambassador has bonded with the Corellan princesses. Peace is a name, and that name is unity. The next morning, a new sun rose over the towers of Arvelis. Ships moved in and out of orbit. Voices of both humans and aliens filled the walkways of the station and on the balcony of the royal house. 5 figures stood watching. One man, and 4 sisters, now united as one family. Their journey had just begun.